Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our next webinar in our transition series on ABLEnow. This whole week has been about kind of financially planning for the future. So this is the last webinar this week on that financial topic. So I want to thank Brittany Bulloch for being with us today from ABLEnow. She's going to share lots of information. As a reminder, these slides will be posted to our transition series Padlet, as well as a recording of this webinar today. All of the participants are on mute, so please feel free to use the Q&A box to type in your questions, and Brittany will get to all of those at the end. All right, well, thank you. With that, we'll let Brittany get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diane, and happy rainy Friday to everyone. Thank you all for joining. So again, we are going to be talking about ABLEnow accounts today. So again, my name is Brittany Bulloch, and I am one of the marketing associates with the ABLEnow program. So I have the pleasure of kind of traveling around the state to educate families on the importance of ABLE accounts and ABLEnow. So what I'm going to talk with you guys about today is we are going to take some time to talk about the ABLE Act. So this is the legislation that was passed that allowed for ABLE savings accounts. We'll also talk about eligibility. So how to determine if someone is eligible to open an ABLEnow account. And we also have some exciting news about that eligibility. There will be some great changes happening with that within the next year or so. We'll also look at qualified disability expenses, so what you'll be able to use those ABLEnow funds for. And then we'll spend a brief moment looking at how to open an account and who can open or help open an account for an individual. And then lastly, we'll look at how to manage that account. So why is this information important? This information is important because ABLE accounts are a relatively new financial tool for eligible Americans with disabilities. And so these accounts are designed to empower self-determination and financial independence. We did kind of a survey a few years ago, and what we realized was that only 1% of eligible Americans actually have an ABLEnow account or an ABLE account open. So again, we are working with a lot of individuals and with the community to still bring awareness to this amazing financial tool. I do want to note that I myself cannot give any legal, financial, or tax advice. So if you do have those questions, we just encourage you to reach out to an individual that would be able to assist you. All right, so what is ABLE? So you guys may or may not have heard of ABLE accounts before, but ABLE accounts are again, a relatively new financial tool that offers tax advantage savings accounts for eligible individuals with disabilities. And so a lot of you on this call may be aware that for far too long, individuals with disabilities who were receiving those public means tested benefits had an asset limitation of $2,000. So meaning that they could only save up to $2,000. And if they exceeded that, a lot of times those benefits could be lowered or suspended. And we know that in today's economy, that's not a lot of money that individuals can save. So ABLE accounts were designed to allow for individuals to be able to save funds without endangering eligibility for those certain means tested disability benefits. And so in 2024, individuals can save up to $18,000 per year in their ABLEnow account. And again, without endangering eligibility for some of those means tested disability benefits. And those benefits are going to include things like SSI, SSDI, Medicaid, and there's also a few other benefit programs that won't be impacted by ABLE accounts as well. The ABLE Act or the ABLE program was actually thanks to a family in your area in Northern Virginia. So there was a father, Mr. Stephen Beck Jr., and he had two daughters, and he had a 529 savings account and estate planning and things for one daughter. But he also had a daughter with Down syndrome, and he was scared to save for her. He felt like he couldn't save for her without the fear of her losing the benefits that they greatly relied on. So he sat down with some other families and they kind of advocated for this change. And so it resulted in the ABLE Act. And ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. Unfortunately, Mr. Beck did pass away before the ABLE legislation was passed into law. So they did name that legislation to honor his advocacy and his work. And again, the ABLE Act established or allowed for states to be able to establish their ABLE programs. And today there are about 48 states that offer ABLE savings accounts. So what is ABLEnow? We talked about the ABLE Act. So that's the legislation that allowed for states to be able to create the ABLE savings programs for their state. Well, ABLEnow is the Virginia-sponsored ABLE savings program. And we are actually the largest independent direct sold ABLE program in the nation. And the great thing is we are open to eligible individuals in all 50 states. So you don't have to be a Virginia resident to open an ABLEnow account with us. And let's say you are a Virginia resident, but maybe you end up relocating later on, you could still keep your ABLEnow account with us. ABLEnow is administered by Commonwealth Savers. We were formerly known as Virginia 529, and we are an independent state agency that has been helping families dream, save, and achieve for over 25 years. So by adding ABLEnow, it just makes our mission even more inclusive. So again, ABLE accounts are the federal legislation or, the general product. But again, each state offers their own ABLE program. And so ABLEnow is the Virginia sponsored ABLE savings program. A great feature of our program is that we also offer a product called Able America. And Able America is actually the nation's only advisor sold Able program. And this is offered through a partnership that we have with Capital Group, or a lot of people know them as American Funds. And the way that Able America works is that you're actually going to work with a financial advisor to help build out your Able plan that meets your specific savings needs. A lot of our families like to go with the ABLEnow program and just manage it themselves, but we also have a lot of families that may already work with a financial advisor or they want that additional assistance, so they choose to go with the Able America program. For the purposes of today's presentation, we're just going to focus on our direct sold program, ABLEnow. But if you're interested in Able America, you would just contact your financial advisor or a financial advisor in your area and see if they do offer the Able America program. All right, so I mentioned in the beginning, we'll talk about eligibility. And so this is a big question that we get. How do you know if an individual is eligible for an ABLEnow account? So an eligible individual is someone who developed the onset of their disability prior to the age of 26, and they are entitled to SSI or SSDI benefits based on blindness or disability, or they may self-certify that they have a qualifying disability diagnosis from a physician. We actually have almost kind of a split between individuals who are eligible because they receive SSI or SSDI, but then we also have about the same amount of individuals who are eligible because they self-certify. The great thing is that we have a form on our website that if you are going to self-certify, you could just download that form and have a physician sign off on that form, and you would submit that with your application. We have some great news about the onset age. So currently, again, the onset of the disability has to happen before the age of 26. But starting January of 2026, that age limit is going to go up to 46, and that's thanks to the Able Age Adjustment Act. So, in about a year and some months, that age limit will go up, and we'll be able to assist many more Americans, and they would be eligible to open an ABLEnow account. I do want to make two important notes. An eligible individual can only have one ABLE account at any given time. So if you are a parent and you're looking to open an ABLEnow account for your child, that can be the only ABLEnow account they have. The other parent couldn't open one, or grandma, grandpa couldn't open another one for them. The other note I want to make is that an individual can be older than the age of 26 and still be eligible. You just have to keep in mind that the onset of their disability has to occur prior to the age of 26. So, for example, let's say the individual is 35, but maybe they were born with their disability, they would still be eligible to open an ABLEnow account. Right, so how can I use the money? You're an eligible individual or your loved one's an eligible individual, and you know that you could save up to $18,000 per year in your account, but you're trying to figure out now, what can we use the money for? So the ABLE accounts may be used at any time for any reason to pay for expense related to maintaining the individual's health, independence, and quality of life. So the key thing you want to keep in mind is the expense relating to the eligible individual? Is the expense, was the expense occurred at the time they were considered an eligible individual? And is it helping to maintain their health, independence, and quality of life? Now, we get a lot of questions if there's a specific list of what those expenses are. And unfortunately, there's not a specific list or certified list because every individual is going to have a different need. And so what we end up doing is just kind of creating just some general categories. So basic living expenses, and these are probably our most popular. A lot of our account holders use the funds for day-to-day living expenses. And that can include things like food, clothing, groceries, transportation. Health and wellness is another one. So maybe you have to cover expenses that insurance or Medicaid may not cover. Housing, you can use your ABLEnow account to help pay for housing expenses. And that includes, rent or electricity, different things like that. Transportation is another big category. So individuals are using their ABLEnow accounts, maybe if they need to take a Uber somewhere, or maybe if they're using public transportation. We've even had individuals purchase vehicles with their ABLEnow account or make vehicle modifications. Education and training is another great one. I do want to note that if you are a parent saving for a child and maybe your child wants to explore higher education, you can use your ABLEnow account to help cover for those education expenses. Assistive technology, financial management, and legal fees as well. The great thing is that we do not require any receipts or documentation for what you're using the funds for. So again, you just want to make sure that you are keeping track of those things. And you want to make sure, again, that the expenses relating to maintaining health, independence, and quality of life. And the quality of life portion gets it's different for every individual. We've had individuals take vacations, or maybe they like to paint and want art supplies, or maybe they want to go to the movies or go bowling. So again, that quality of life is going to be different for every individual. So what are the advantages of saving in an ABLEnow account? And that main one is save beyond those asset limitations. So again, funds in an ABLEnow account are disregarded when determining eligibility for certain means tested benefits. If an individual is receiving SSI, they can save up to $100,000 in their ABLEnow account without it impacting their SSI benefits. Once they exceed $100,000, their SSI benefits may be reduced or suspended. Now, if the individual's not receiving SSI, maybe they're just receiving SSDI or Medicaid, there's actually no impact to benefits. And so for those individuals, they could save up to $550,000 in the account. So again, keep in mind, $18,000 is what you could save per year, but some of our account holders want to just save and keep saving and let the account grow. So again, you can overall save up to $100,000 in the account if you are receiving SSI. If you're not, if you're receiving SSDI or Medicaid, you could save up to $550,000 in the account. I do want to make a quick note about Medicaid benefits. Some families may be familiar with this or may not be, but in some states there's something called a Medicaid clawback provision or Medicaid payback provision. And what that states is that if the individual were to pass away, the state could claw back funds or get a repayment of funds for those Medicaid related services that they received. In 2020, Virginia got rid of their Medicaid clawback provision when it comes to ABLEnow accounts. So the great thing is that if you're a Virginia resident, you no longer have to worry about that Medicaid clawback provision. If you reside in another state, you just want to check with your state to see what their Medicaid clawback provision is when it comes to the ABLE accounts. The other advantage is you could save with the help of others. So the great thing is that anyone can make a contribution to an ABLEnow account, including the account holder, their family, their friends. You could set up direct deposits. So maybe you're working and you want your paycheck to go to your ABLEnow account, or maybe you're receiving some other type of monthly payment. Again, you can have that go directly into your ABLEnow account. You could save in an account designed for your unique needs. ABLEnow accounts are flexible and low cost to maintain. And we will look at some of those fees in just a moment. And then lastly, you get some tax benefits. So you could save tax-free. Earnings on investments grow tax-free at both the state and federal level, and you are never taxed when using the funds for a qualified disability expense. And then contributions may also qualify the individual for the saver's tax credit. In addition, there are some state tax benefits for Virginia taxpayers. And for Virginia taxpayers, if they make a contribution to an ABLEnow account, they could deduct up to $2,000 on their Virginia state income tax per year. Right, so there are some investment options with ABLEnow. So again, trying to make it really easy for families to be able to save, especially if they want to save long term. And so the way that the investment options work is that the first $2,000 saved in your ABLEnow account are saved in an FDIC insured deposit account. And this is linked to your ABLEnow debit card. And I do want to note that every account holder will receive a ABLEnow debit card. It is a Visa debit card. There's no fee for the debit card. And again, it just makes it really easy to be able to pay for those qualified expenses. So again, with the investment option, the first $2,000 in your account are automatically invested into that deposit account, which is linked to your ABLEnow card. Now, once you exceed $2,000 in that deposit account, you will have the option to invest additional contributions into one of the 4 investment portfolios you see on the screen. And again, this is optional. So some of our account holders may decide to just continue to have those funds go into their deposit account, but some of those account holders may decide to invest some of those contributions. And the 4 investment portfolios that you see are an aggressive growth, a moderate growth, conservative income, and money market. And so we do use Vanguard for a lot of these investment options. The money market is a Fidelity investment. And again, Just to kind of reiterate, this is an optional feature. You do not have to invest the funds if you do not want to. Now we'll take a second to look at some of the account costs with the ABLEnow accounts. And again, ABLEnow offers some of the lowest fees in the country among ABLE programs. So the great thing is there's no enrollment fee and no minimum contribution. So if you want to go ahead and start that application today, you don't have to worry about making an opening contribution. And the other great thing is you don't have to make a minimum contribution to the account. If you open your account today with $0, we will notify you within a few months if that account still stays at $0. We'll just send you a notification that says, hey, don't forget you open this ABLEnow account, make a contribution if you would like this account, to stay open. There is an account service fee of $3.25 per month, and that fee is waived if there is a balance of $10,000 in that deposit account. And if you choose to invest your funds, there are some asset-based fees between 0.36% and 0.39%, depending on the investment selection that you choose. All right, so we talked about the ABLE Act. So again, the ABLE Act was the federal legislation that opened the door for ABLE savings accounts. We looked at ABLEnow again, which is the Virginia ABLE Savings Program. We talked about eligibility. We talked about what you could use those funds for. So now we're going to look at how to open an account. And again, everything can be done directly through our website, ablenow.com. So who can open an account? So if an individual is an eligible individual over the age of 18, they may open and manage an ABLEnow account independently. So this means no one's assisting them. They are opening and managing that account themselves. But if the individual is under the age of 18 or is unable to open the account or requires assistance, or maybe they don't want to open their own account, they can have an authorized representative open and manage the ABLEnow account on their behalf. And so now we'll look at what information is needed and also who can open an account as an authorized individual. So if the individual is the eligible individual and they're opening the account themselves, they're going to need to provide their personally identifiable information. So think about the same information you would provide to like a bank if you were opening a bank account. So this includes name, address, date of birth, social security number, email, and phone number. They can also link a bank account to their ABLEnow account, and this is actually really encouraged because it makes it really easy to transfer funds from one account to the other. Now, for the authorized representatives, they're going to have to provide the same information. So again, that personally identifiable information. But who can open an account as an authorized representative? So an eligible family member can open an account as an authorized representative, and they actually don't have to support or provide any supporting documentation. And an eligible family member is going to be a parent, grandparent, sibling, or spouse of the eligible individual. And the great thing for eligible family members is that they can stay on the account as the eligible family member, even if the individual is over the age of 18. So again, eligible family members can open an account for an individual without having to provide any sort of supporting documentation. But you can also have legal guardians, power of attorneys, care representatives open and manage an account as an authorized representative for an individual. If you fall under that category, you would have to provide the proper legal documentation during the application process. And our custodian bank PNC would reach out to you in order to tell you what information they need and how to provide that information. About 2 or 3 years ago, we even expanded it to allow rep payees and organizational rep payees to be able to open and manage accounts as well. So if someone is assigned a rep payee from the Social Security Administration, they now can act as the authorized representative as well. So I do want to note for the authorized representative, they're going to be typically the individual who receives the ABLEnow debit card, but they can also always request an ABLEnow debit card for the eligible individual as well. And again, it's at no cost. So now we'll look at how to access and manage that account. So you can use the online account portal or the mobile app to manage your account anytime, anywhere. The portal and the mobile app are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The mobile app is available through the Apple App Store and through the Google Play Store for Android devices. With both the portal and the mobile app, you can check balances, you can pay for qualified disability expenses, you can make contributions, and so much more. We highly, highly encourage our account holders or their authorized representatives to make sure they're protecting their account with a strong password. So again, think of this account like a regular banking account. So you want to make sure you're using a strong password. You also want to make sure that you're keeping your information up to date. So making sure that your phone number or email address or mailing address stays updated through the secure online portal. And then for our current account holders, we also have a new feature through the online portal, and this is the Financial Resource Hub. And so this is just an area of the portal that has some great information for our account holders to help strengthen their financial wellness and maximize their ABLEnow account. So they'll find some great articles in there that really talk about financial education and financial wellness in a whole. But again, just kind of providing that education and some additional resources for our account holders. All right, so we do have a chance for you all to enter to win $500 towards an ABLEnow account. And you can do this regardless if you already have an account or if you are interested in opening an account. If you have your phone, you could just point your phone to the screen to scan that QR code. Or if you want, you can jot down the link. It's ablenow.com/win. And it will take you to that same page to be able to enter to win for those funds. All right, and I can add the link to the chat in a second, but I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the frequently asked questions. And then again, if you have a question, please feel free to submit that in that Q&A section, and we could get to that in just a moment. So the first question we have here is, I am older than the age of 26. Can I open an ABLEnow account? And the answer is yes. So again, as a reminder, as long as the onset of the disability occurred prior to the age of 26, the individual could still be eligible to open an ABLEnow account even if they are older than 26. Do I need to live in a certain state to open an ABLEnow account? And the answer is no. So we actually have accounts in all 50 states. So again, I know that some of you may reside in DC, or maybe you live here in Virginia, but may move later on. You could still keep your ABLEnow account with us. How much can I save in my ABLEnow account each year? So for 2024, you can save up to $18,000 in your ABLEnow account. And if that amount ever changes, if it ever increases, we typically will notify potential account holders or account holders towards the end of the year. But again, for 2024, you are empowered to save up to $18,000 in your ABLEnow account. The next question here is a great question that we get a lot, and it's, can I have an ABLEnow account in a special needs trust? And the answer is yes. And so, for some families, it may be a necessity to have both. Keep in mind, those special needs trusts do allow you to save more money than an Able Now account. So, I have chatted with families who have had both a special needs trust and an Able Now account for different reasons. So, again, it may be a necessity or it may just be a choice that you want to do. But you can have both an ABLEnow account and a special needs trust. Who can contribute to my ABLEnow account? And again, anyone can make a contribution. So the eligible individual, their family members, their friends can make contributions. So anyone can help grow that ABLEnow account. And then where do I go to open my ABLEnow account? This is really important. You're going directly to our website. We do have a lot of individuals who try to go to like a bank to open their ABLEnow account. And unfortunately, you can't do it in person. You're doing everything directly through our website, ablenow.com. These and other great questions and answers can be found online at our website. So you'll go to ablenow.com, you'll see the resources tab, and under resources, you'll see the FAQ page. And again, like Diane mentioned, I've also shared these slides. So these slides will be posted. But we also have a lot of other great blog articles and information on our website as well. And then if you have a question after today's webinar or you need assistance, we have an amazing customer service team, and they are available Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. You can call, or if you go to our website, you can submit a contact me, contact us form, and they would be more than happy to assist you, again, if you have questions or if you need assistance. All right, so I will check the Q&A now to see if we have any questions. So I don't see any questions coming in, but I will stay on, Diana, if you need me to, if anyone has any questions. If not, I will allow you guys to have back some free time of your Friday.
Thank you, Brittany. I'm going to stop the recording here, but we can stay on. If people have some additional questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A box.